Imagine you're in a high school class and the teacher gives a big assignment with a tight deadline. I'm sure most students have had this experience, and I'm not the exception either. My class had a huge presentation due during an extremely busy week. At first, we all just accepted it. No one wants to be the one to complain. But as time passed, pressure and stress started to build up. Finally, after days of this frustration, my friend decided to raise her hand and respectfully explain to the teacher how we're all having a hard time keeping up with the assignment because of other commitments. The teacher paused, then agreed to extend the deadline for everyone. Notice how it wasn't a huge rebellion, just one person speaking up, but it made a difference for the whole class. Sometimes it only takes one person's voice to create change that everyone else can benefit from. What's my point here? I promise I have one, but before we get to that, let's forget a classroom and see what else can be done by one person speaking up, whether that's in activism, art, or even everyday life. It starts as a small action, but it doesn't stop there. What begins as a single act of courage can ignite a movement, build momentum, and transform the world in ways we never would have imagined. History itself isn't shaped by the masses all at once. It all starts with one person, one moment, one voice. In 1955, a woman named Rosa Parks refused to give up her bus seat to a white passenger in Montgomery, Alabama. It seemed like a small act of defiance, but it became the catalyst for the Montgomery bus boycott, which led to a major turning point in the civil rights movement. It helped change US laws on segregation, which means that different race groups were no longer kept separate. Another perfect example is Malala Yousafzai, a girl who became the youngest Nobel Prize laureate and inspired global efforts for girls' education. In 2009, at just 11 years old, she began anonymously blogging for the BBC about life under Taliban rule in Pakistan, where girls were banned from attending school. She later stepped into the public eye, giving speeches and advocating for education. She did everything despite growing threats, which turned into an attempt to assassinate her when she was 15. Instead of silencing her, the attack amplified her voice. She recovered and continued her advocacy on an even larger scale, becoming a symbol of worldwide change. I'm getting at another thing here. Change isn't just made by historical figures or global icons. It starts with everyday people, just like us, and they become known for their actions later on. Think about it. Rosa Parks was just one woman on a bus, and Malala was just a young girl with a blog. They didn't wake up that morning expecting to spark a movement or to become a global advocate. They just simply spoke up for what they believed in, never realizing the lasting impact they would have on many lives. These people prove that your voice is important, and it deserves to be heard. Because if they made a change, why can't you? A single voice has the power to inspire, uplift, and ignite change, even in ways we may never see. But here's the thing. You don't need to lead a movement or change the whole world to make an impact. Sometimes you can change one person's world. That detail often goes unnoticed because it seems small, but it's actually quite the opposite. You can make a huge positive impact on somebody's life without even realizing it. In my long 15 years of living, I've had some struggles, and sometimes all I needed was just one person to hear me out and understand what I was feeling, where I was coming from. And I'm forever grateful to have these people in my life. They don't make the important decisions of my life for me, but they're there when I'm facing the consequences or the benefits of them. Whether it's a simple phrase of encouragement from a friend, a piece of advice from my mom, or just someone being there for me to listen without judgment, never fails to make me feel supported and cared for. These actions don't always fix everything, but they help you see from a different perspective, making a problem seem much more manageable. I've come to realize that sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is be that one person who listened and helped when others needed guidance. There are times when people aren't looking for answers or solutions. They just need to know they're on the right path, they're not alone, and they're capable of getting through whatever it is they're facing. When you speak words of support, you give someone more than just a moment of comfort. You give them the strength to keep going, even when they feel like giving up. The person offering those words might not even realize it, but they're the main character here, and their simple act could have helped someone get through the toughest moments of their life. Now, I want you to think about a time when someone's word lifted you up, gave you confidence, or made you feel valued. If that moment mattered to you, which it probably did, imagine what you can do for others. So, maybe sharing your personal story helps someone else realize that their struggles are valid and they can overcome them too. Maybe speaking up for a friend in a moment when they feel weak or unsure can remind them that they're not alone and they have someone who sees and supports them. Maybe standing up for what's right doesn't just defend a cause, it sets an example for others, making them realize they have a voice too and they can use it. Now, let's go back to words again, because they carry an obscene amount of power. You never know. Maybe that one kind thing you said to someone was exactly what they needed to hear. The impact you have on others is often beyond your awareness, but it's always real, and it could be a beautiful thing. So, the message I hope I got across today is that a single voice can be one of the strongest forces in the world. That's all it takes to spark change and inspire others. It's pretty amazing just how much power it holds, and just how much power you hold. So don't be afraid to use yours to make the world you live in a better place. Thank you.